Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Keithy Broom here in sunny, beautiful Queensland. You can't see the sun behind because it's 7 o'clock at night, but you'll notice the sign behind me. That's why we're here. Swiss Gold Global, buying, was it generational wealth? Building, can't read backwards, building generational wealth. And that's what we're all about. We're live here. We've got people already watching. Welcome to you folks. If you've got a question, we've got a live chat box going there. So if anything comes up that our guests don't answer, then feel free to just put them in the chat box. Say hi in the chat box. I'll give you a shout out as well. So it's a great Monday night. It's the 18th of September 2017, and the year has just flown past, and a lot of things have changed in our space, which is with Swiss Gold Globals as gold and silver and cryptocurrency, and especially our focus for a lot of new people here is the cryptocurrency, where you're able to earn passively part-time. So I'll just go to my website to get a live update of the price. And now it's Bitcoin on CoinCap. Now these vary a little bit on the different exchanges. 3,958 American. So that's about a 9.6% increase today. Now let's say call it 10% today. Ethereum hit 295. It's just dropped off to 288, but it keeps bumping up. That's gone up 17%. Now we're going to talk about Ethereum tonight. That's quite exciting about that. Oh, look out! Karen's arrived. Hit 295. It's just dropped off to 288. G'day, Karen. Just put your mic on mute first. Thanks. There's a bit of feedback because, again, my internet signal is pretty horrendous here in Australia at the moment, especially in Brisbane with my provider. So things are on the move for the top two coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So awesome. So on the panel tonight, we have, of course, we have Claudia all the way from, where are you tonight, Claudia? You're somewhere different. Let us know where you are.
I was yesterday somewhere different, but today I'm back. So I was yesterday in beautiful Holland. That was wonderful to see all those bikes, those tens of thousands of bikes. Today I'm in Germany and enjoying the sun and just about to go for a bike ride after that call. So happy to be on the call Monday mornings.
Right. Now, just out of interest, Germany to whereabouts in Holland? An hour drive for you, or how long does it take?
No, it's like 4.5 hours drive. Well, depending where. So the border is 2.5 hours. But depending, on the traffic. So if you're a lot of traffic, if you're a fast car and you're a fast rider, if you're Bill, let's say you go there in 2 hours. If you're a Claudia, like I am, you go in 4 hours.
All right. Okay, great. And Karen, thanks for jumping on late. I know you're flat out. You've got all the stuff coming, and we want to talk about your event coming up. It's this coming week, isn't it?
It is. It was 2 weeks yesterday, so it's not quite 2 weeks away. Yeah, so really looking forward to that. Not long
awesome. Now. I love going to events. They're just so much fun, and you get to meet people face to face, and you can talk to them about their business and how they're going to ask some questions, and you learn so much by actually physically meeting people. So really good. What's the maximum you can hold there?
It's around about 140. We're over halfway sold now. 140 will be very, very busy. But yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll have a full house.
Right.
There are still some tickets left, but they are going quite quickly now. It's getting closer to it.
And air conditioning, is that organised this time, Karen? Because I know you.
I'm going over this week just to make sure everything is is working as it should. It's a different venue, so yeah.
You might have to go onto eBay and get some SGG hand fans made up, but they can do that. All right, thanks, Karen. Now on the call as well, we've got Paul from the Gold Coast. Now, everybody needs fans on the Gold Coast because it's always hot and warm, isn't it, Paul?
Certainly is, mate. Water aerobics today, 27 degrees. Beautiful. I don't know why I'm doing this tonight. Just hanging out. That's all. Beautiful.
Fantastic. Water aerobics. Now I know the only fluids you like splashing around in. They're not. It's not seawater, mate. So all good. Fantastic. And lastly but not leastly is Bill Rowell, our CEO and owner of the business. And we've got a couple of curly questions for you tonight, Bill, as we always try and throw you in the deep end. But I know you're a good swimmer. You're from Melbourne, but not renowned for swimming down there in Melbourne. Port, was it Port? What's that bay down there? Port. Port, which one? Sorry.
Port Mud.
Port Phillip Bay. That's it. Your sound is a little bit quiet. I'm not sure if we can hear you loudly or there. Just turn your mic up if you can. You're right there now? Yep. Okay. Well, I'll throw to you, Bill, because there's a few things happening. There's something happening every week in our business, in our space. Either Chinese are trying to put their foot into cryptocurrency, blokes from American banking companies or trading companies are trying to put their spin on things and get people spinning off when they're actually doing some buying behind the scenes. There's all sorts of stories in the media, and it confuses a lot of people who are new to this space. And it's good to get someone in your position who knows what's going on to clear the air and say, right, this is where we're at. This is what's going to happen in the next 3, 6, 12 months. This is what you should be doing, and this is what you should not be doing as far as listening to people who are doing this and that with your business. Because the bottom line is we're all trying to earn an income from this business. And that's what most people focus on. Some people tend to get drifting off. There might be something happening there, something happening there. We call it shiny object syndrome, SOS. A lot of people with SOS going here, there, and everywhere instead of focusing on the one place. So I'll throw to you now, Bill, and can you just give us an update on the first couple of things, like the app and the crypto page? How's that going for us?
Sure. Of course, Giddy, thanks for hosting tonight's call. Can you hear me okay now? Is that better?
A bit broken up. Can you guys hear Bill there? Cloudy, can you hear him clearly?
I'm not too sure whether it's my... No, Karen can't hear me. Let me unplug my headset, see if that improves the situation. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Beautiful.
Oh, well, it's the same old problem with my computer. Anyway, you hear me now, so it's great to be here, Keithy. Thanks for hosting the call tonight. Yes, there's lots of things going on in the crypto space and the business world, as there always is, but like a captain of a ship, you've got to stay steady. When the seas get rough, you've got to stay strong and focused and firm. Now, just on the apps, yes, the apps are the mobile app for the Android and the iPhone is just about near completion. We're just fine-tuning the enrollment process on that, and we expect that to be launched next week. So that's going to be great news. So people will be able to see, of course, their crypto mining balances, their gold and silver holdings. You'll be able to enroll from that particular page, which is going to be great for many people, different parts of the world who don't have PCs or internet. They primarily operate from data. That's the goal there. This will be the first version of it. Of course, it's going to require various upgrades, but this will be the first version from this. On the web page, there's a number of upgrades really occurring there. The most important one is, of course, the upgrade to the cryptocurrency page, and that is near completion. I mean, we developed a slider. Many of you know that are on this call who are already members of Swiss Gold Global know that we have a slider, and you can slide along and select how much cryptocurrency you want. Now, originally, Genesis Mining didn't have that. They saw what we did, and then they put it on their homepage, which they've got a little slider there, which is fantastic. Now, we need to also put it on our homepage. So the page we've got from Genesis now is primarily a white label page from Genesis, but the slider wasn't working. So we believe we're going to have that the next 24 to 48 hours, and we'll test it. So primarily when you go to your Swiss Gold Global homepage, you'll be able to click on cryptocurrency. You're going to see primarily a full view, just like looking at the Genesis page in one sense. You'll see the products, you'll see the pricing. You'll also have a slider, which will be in which would be in the same pricing alignment as Genesis Mining, which is great. Primarily, that's what we have to do because we are in agreement with them. They provided us agreement where they're going to supply us mining now, which leads us into another question, of course, and big dilemma at the moment. Of course, we don't have any Bitcoin mining, so there's been lots of changes and sort of politics happening in the last couple of weeks. It was unexpected, of course. I mean, I was with Genesis just after being with Karen in Birmingham probably 2 months ago, now probably longer. And in their boardroom in Munich, we had a very good meeting. And of course, I questioned them about hash power because back then we also had 24 hours without having Bitcoin. So even back then, it was a point of contention. What is your supply? How can you move forward? We have an expanding market here for a hot product. Can you supply this? What's your plans to do this? And of course, the answer to that was, of course, they've got other farms coming online and they're commissioning them. But there's always a time delay in those because of electricity supplies and, of course, even the physical product hardware supplies as well. And also the idea that they weren't going to be expanding to supplying other people. That's what was informed to me, of course. But business is business. It's their business. They're a supplier to us, and of course, as we all know, they brought on another supplier, and which is absolutely fine. It's a different business model, slightly to what ours is. We're a little bit different, and so I have no problem with that. They have the rights to do what they want to do, but of course, my main focus right now is, of course, making sure that our members are taken care of, that we have supply of Bitcoin mining as well, just like any other reseller of the Genesis mining product. So I can't give you an update on that right now. I'm expecting further calls this afternoon on this. I reached out again over the weekend and this morning, but the weekend was busy for them, and came back. So as soon as I have something, I'll let the people know. Now, they also tweeted, and we chatted about this, it's probably a week ago, that they're only a couple of weeks from having the Bitcoin mining. But we need to get some absolute clarity for our members so they know where we're heading. But we see cryptocurrency as a dynamic product. It's the monetary system primarily changes every 40 years around the world. The last change was primarily 1971 when Nixon took the gold standard unpegged the gold standard really from the US dollar, and all currencies were pegged to the US dollar. Prior to that was the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944, where it went from the British pound being the actual reserve currency to the US dollar after the Second World War. Prior to that, the Dutch guilder was the reserve currency. Here we are living in the digital age where we're actually progressing, in the cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrency, it is a currency, just like you have the British pound, the Australian dollar, the US dollar. So this is really important to be engaged in this area. It's early adoption. The products are in high demand. So we see this as very, very important to provide it to our members. All the top mining contracts, such as Bitcoin being number one, being the beginning of this whole cryptographic digital currency. Of course, Ethereum, Dash, and these other coins as well. So I'd like to be able to give you an update when the trigger is going to be pulled, when our supply is going to turn on. I can't give that to you right now, but as soon as I do know, I'm going to, of course, let you all know and put a message up on Facebook as well.
That's pretty succinct. And you're actually speaking with them in the next few hours with Genesis Mining, Bill?
Correct, yes. Well, my last call was Friday with them, and we've had written communication since then, of course. And but today we've got a conference call later on today, so we'll get some clarity on this. And of course, it's we need a definite date. We need a definite plan to move forward. But no, their relationship with us is absolutely fine and solid. It was a bit of surprise what happened. But growing companies like this, when there's different partners involved or founders involved, they don't know whether the communication is always the best between them. Things happen. But no, I have no problem with what they've actually done. It's just more we need to have better communication. That's all, so we can let our members know on a first level.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Well, you've got a bit of the old Australian bulldog in your, Bill, so just get stuck into the mate and bring it home for the team. And we all get. There's so much excitement, especially here in Australia. People seeing there's an opportunity to earn part-time passive income and then compound your favorite word. So that's exactly what people are waiting for. But on the other hand, there's always another option. There's always options, option A, option B, whatever the options are. And we're sitting on an option now that people really, I don't feel people understand what it's all about, and that's Ethereum. Now, it's different in as much as Bitcoin is currency to exchange and buy things with. At this stage, Ethereum is a currency, but it's used for different applications. But at some stage, as I've been told by Claudia, and she's going to explain to us now, we'll be able to buy and sell things in Ethereum. We'll have Ethereum cards, and this is in the very, very near future. So I'll throw to you now, Claudia, and if you can just give us a sort of a rundown on a brief explanation of Ethereum. So a lot of the new people hear Ethereum, look at the price. It's about just under 300. It already has gone to 400. So what's your expectation, say, the next 3 to 6 months of the growth and the use and acceptance of Ethereum? Because you've been buying Ethereum contracts and using it for a few years now. Can you give us a rundown?
Sure, Kitty, I can. I wished I would have had it bought a few years ago, but no, I just bought in this year early. And of course it was by, what was it, around 9, 10, 11, 12. So it had a run up to 400 Ethereum. And in fact, 3 months ago, Ethereum was 3 times more profitable than Bitcoin. 3 times more profitable. This is big. People just need to understand that. So of course we are in a volatile market. While everybody's frustrated that we don't have Bitcoin contracts, well, I'm very much of a believer of Ethereum. And Ethereum, to explain Ethereum, of course, to not get technical, because it can be getting technical. Well, Ethereum, you know, it's like the world's largest computer. So what Bitcoin does for payments, Ethereum does for anything that can be programmed. Everything which can be programmed, that is what Ethereum does for. So it's used in the decentralizing services, basically for everything, accounting, from running elections. I mean, there's coins, a dental coin, for example, coming out, who is used in the dental industries. They're all running on on the computer platform in the Ethereum chain. So it's really, really interesting that Ethereum, so services that are traditionally being centralized, they can be decentralized using Ethereum, and this will of course lead to reduced costs and fees connecting individuals directly, of really removing those third parties. So imagine like a service like Uber. I mean, you know, Uber, I used Uber in Australia. It's forbidden in Germany, so, but because the taxi lobby. So imagine a service like Uber or like eBay without a company in the middle collecting fees. Imagine that. And so that's really what somehow Ethereum is. And of course, it's just fascinating when you read all that stories. Ethereum's vision is really to decentralize, in one sense, the internet by creating a platform where applications can be built and run on a decentralized network. And Ethereum is very fast. It's very much way faster than, of course, Bitcoin. And it's very flexible without, of course, the inherent limitations which are happening on the Bitcoin protocol. So over the last few years, really developers, they have begun using Bitcoin's underlying technology, in one sense, the blockchain, for creative new applications. And if Ethereum is really the next generation platform that allows anyone, both developers and consumers, to easily take really advantage of decentralized networks and realize somehow the benefits of, realize the benefits of the blockchain technology. It's, I mean, it is so exciting. You can create basically everything which would run on a computer. Where you use a computer, you can run on the the Ethereum platform. I mean, just think of what is run on the computer. Your store, your local store, all their inner staff management, their stocks. I mean, everything is nowadays run on a computer, isn't it? So it's really, really an amazing concept, this concept of smart contracts. And yeah, basically, this is what I have to say. I mean, I can talk, of course, way more and go into more technical, but I believe Ethereum, because this every new coin basically which is coming out, every new industry basically which somehow will in the future run on Ethereum. I just read today there's now in Russia, believe it or not, there are now computer courses in the university and about blockchain, about of course cryptocurrencies which they are offering. And of course the main focus is on the Ethereum platform. Why? Because it can be used for so many things which Bitcoin cannot. So I'm very bullish on Ethereum. I think Ethereum, I believe it's going to run to $1,000. I definitely will. I'm owning Ethereum. I'm owning as well Ethereum rigs. I'm mining Ethereum. I'm buying Ethereum. So I'm bullish on Ethereum.
That's some great information about Ethereum. It's really clarified for me the basic idea of what Ethereum is. It's quite different in its applications to Bitcoin. So I hope everyone got a lot out of that. And then now you can realize that you've got Ethereum contracts available right now at $2.95. So you can buy them now. And as that price goes up, your daily returns will go up. So I've been buying, and my team's been buying Ethereum contracts through Swiss Gold Global the last, 2 months, really. So we'll just continue doing that and just wait for Bitcoin to come back. So we'll just keep building our returns, because the one thing I just want to ask you as well, Claudia, that I'm getting paid in Bitcoin for my Ethereum contracts, right? Are we able to, you can't, that's not in to swap that to be paid in Ethereum yet, is it?
That is a question for Bill. It is on, actually, I think very soon they are on it that it's possible.
So not quite yet, Bill? Oh. Oh, the microphone. Where's your mic gone? That's all right. Just while you're trying to interrupt me when you come on, I want to throw to Karen for the event coming up. Can you give us a little rundown of what you'll be doing at the event this time round?
Well, we've got Bill and Claudia coming again, as usual, which is fantastic. So, and Prem will be there as well. So Prem is going to be overseeing the event, and then we're going to have Bill and Claudia speaking. And then we've also got one of the directors from Genesis actually coming. I'm not sure which one yet, but they'll be speaking as well, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. So, you know, any information, we'll get it there and then on the day. So get your tickets.
We're
bit of a long way for you. It's in Solihull. It's in Solihull in a town called Knoll. So it's not far out of town. Well, it's in a small town, but yeah, it's all the information. I'll drop it into chat, the link, so that anyone on the call now can actually see it.
So just for people overseas who may have friends it's in central England. Where's the nearest major city to where you're holding it?
Birmingham. Birmingham is the nearest.
All right. So
yeah.
if you folks watching out there, you got any friends who live within a couple of 100 miles of Birmingham, then go onto Karen's page and grab the link and get your people down there. There's only about 70 tickets left. So
yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Fantastic. All right. Very, very good.
Back, Keithy.
Yeah, go, Bill. Go for it, mate.
Yeah, my apologies there. You're right. I was working there and lost the audio page. Yeah, a couple of things there. First of all, we're looking forward to this event, Karen. And yes, one of the Genesis directors will be there. We're yet to confirm which one. My Skype message with Jacob on Friday was that he would be there pending his health and well-being. As he said, he probably saw over the weekend he'd broken 5 weeks ago 17 ribs, so his condition varies, but he can travel obviously. So on a bike accident. So we're hoping to have Jacob there at the event, if not one of the other directors. So that's going to be key for us. We look forward to that. On the note regarding Claudia's update regarding Ethereum and your question regarding payouts, yes, this is something going to be launched on Thursday of this week. The wallets which we did deploy some weeks back, there was an integration issue with Genesis Mining, and therefore we had to pull it back. But primarily from Thursday onwards, you'll be able to select the algorithm, or let's say the cryptocurrency you're getting mined. Let's say you're mining for Ethereum now, you'll be able to select to be paid in Ethereum to diversify your coins, or you'll be able to be paid out in Bitcoin. If you're mining for Bitcoin, you could actually even select to be paid out in Ethereum, etc. So the wallet process is going to be much more flexible. It gives you the ability to be able to diversify and select the most profitable coin to mine in, because obviously pricing, difficulty rates, the conditions for to be paid out in do change. So we're going to keep you updated regarding that. What is the best for the best coin to go for? But right now, it is certainly Bitcoin. With that said, if you're mining for Ethereum, I think it's great to get mining for your Bitcoin. Take your Bitcoins, build that portfolio. But as Claudia does, certainly be mining for Ethereum as well as you do, Keithy, and I know Paul does as well, and Karen, is that, build up that portfolio of Ethereum. If it goes to $1,000, like Claudia said, well, you won't be disappointed, will you? And looking at the expansion of applications to this particular technology around the world, you've got some big players there. I was just reading there while Claudia was chatting, actually, 150 members, Indian government included. MasterCard joined the Ethereum Alliance. So you've got some major players, including Cisco Systems, MasterCard, Scotiabank, which is Canadian, blockchain technologies. You've got banks using this particular technology. So it's early days. So don't be dictated by price. Understand what's the underlying technology of this coin and where it could be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. Ethereum is a game changer in the way that we live. Okay. Bitcoin's a game changer in peer-to-peer payments, and Ethereum is going to be a game changer in peer-to-peer transactional applications, whether it's land titles, whether it's passport issuing, whether it's airline tickets issuing, anything that you can think of could actually be done on the Ethereum platform in one sense, and in a transparent and secure way, and a much more cost-effective way, because it gets rid of intermediaries. So the technology is young, so you're in the very early stages of a very dynamic technology, which is the best time to be engaged in it. So have a long-term view. Just don't, you've got to have a bit more, I believe you've got to take the blinkers off a bit and just don't follow the dollar sign. If you follow the dollar sign, and you're going from here, flicking here, back on the other side, yes, there's nothing wrong with that. You need to monitor where you are, but understand the core principles behind some of these coins as well. What are you actually buying? What are you actually owning? I can go back to the .com boom, and I'm sure Paul remembers this as well, and probably you too, Keithy, is that many of us were buying stocks. We had no idea what they're about. The broker would ring you and say, hey, Bill, buy this, put 20K and put 50K, and it's 10 cents a share. It's going to go probably to $1. And sometimes I'll be lucky and make some good money, and sometimes I would lose everything that I had. And by the time the market cleaned out and resettled down, that became a bubble, and it actually did clear out, of course, many of the underlying, let's say, stocks, they were just balloon full of air. They had no technology behind them. They were just Facebook. Facebook wasn't around then. But let's compare it to today's communication. It was Facebook hype. They were talking up the prices and different things. These particular coins we're speaking about here, the top tier coins, the Ethereums, the Dash coins, the Litecoins, Bitcoins, etc. They have significant underlying applications, and certainly Ethereum. So you're buying something that is actually real, not just a bit of hype on the internet. I mean, you could have your own coin, Keith. You call it Keithy's Aussie coin, up in probably about an hour, and you could publicize that on Facebook and get people to buy it, and you could drive it up from 0.0001 cent or something, get it up to maybe 1 or 2 cents, which is maybe 1,000-fold your return. You've done very, very well as you're promoting it. This is what happened in the .com boom as well. And of course, they made the movie out of it, didn't they? I forget the name of the movie now. I know Claudia met the met the principal. I can't think of his name. Now she'll tell you when she comes back on. The wolf guy. What was that movie with the wolf? I can't recall it now.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes, that's it. Well, Claudia actually met the main principal from that, the guy there. I can't think of his name now. But while these people are selling these 10-cent, these penny stocks, of course, while they're selling them, promoting them, and taking money out of mums and dads' pockets, at the same time they're selling them. So they'll certainly fill in their pockets while emptying tens of thousands of other people's pockets. So understanding what you're buying is really an important thing, and have a longer term vision. But primarily, if you stick with the main coins, you can't go wrong. If you diversify into some of the other coins, such the more risky coins, it's also okay. But don't back your house on it. Some of these new coins that come up, maybe it's a new coin we haven't even heard of yet. That's going to be the big game changer, even more so than Ethereum and Bitcoin. We don't know. So it'd be silly to miss out on that. But I'm just saying, use a bit of common sense and don't there's no need to over risk things if you do a bit of your research and get engaged, because all of this technology is relatively new. And there's a lot to be made from it. And the mining sector is very, very, very exciting. And again, that's why we want to get Bitcoin mining up as soon as possible, don't we, Karen?
Yeah, now just quickly, one more thing. Can I get a comment from you, Bill, on everyone has been talking about this guy from JP Morgan in the US, what's his name, Jamie Dimon, labeling Bitcoin a fraud. I know people who don't know about Bitcoin are seeing this because negative publicity travels very quickly. So, Bill, can you give us your thoughts on this bloke? And he's got a bit of a checkered past, but what's your thoughts on his statement?
Well, Jamie Dimon, I mean, the guy, I don't know what his income is. I think he earns $7 to $20 million a year revenue. That's his income. Not a bad income to be on. I mean, he's the head of JP Morgan. JP Morgan was bailed out during the 2008 crash using taxpayers' money. So he's sitting in a pretty good seat. He should be pretty grateful to taxpayers. He comes from a centralized system. Also, JP Morgan was one of the guys from Jekyll Island that formed the Federal Reserve back in 1913. So there's a huge history back there. We live under this controlled, centralized monetary system. Primarily, JP Morgan was one of the major players in that back in 1913, of course. So banking is about control. Banking is about centralized control. And of course, everything about Bitcoin or decentralized cryptocurrency, I'm talking about the real deal central cryptocurrency, is everything but centralized. It's about that no one owns it. It's a decentralized concept, and it's money for the people. It's a currency for the people, and that's of course goes everything against the Constitution about what a Federal Reserve or what an Australian Reserve Bank is, or the Bank of England is about. It's all about centralized control of money. So there's going to be huge resistance in this area. The fight has not stopped. The fight is only beginning. And his words, of course, are part of that pushing out and even threatening his employees. If you get engaged in Bitcoin or trading Bitcoin, you're going to be sacked. Big time, they are going to be, they're in it. They're already in, and I understand that, I understand also that even JP Morgan, they've been applying some blockchain research and technologies themselves. So they see the bigger plan, but they want to own this. They don't want you to own it. They don't want Karen to own a currency or to mine a currency, or to Paul to own or mine a currency. They want to be the monopoly of that particular currency, of total control, and they'll give it to you on their terms. And they'll change the interest rates. They'll do this. They'll do that. They'll tell you how much credit's available and when it's not available. They control the throttle, in one sense, of the monetary supply, which also causes the demoralization and the inflation of our currencies. Look at Australia. I mean, since if you look at I'm getting into technical bit here, but it gets emotional because the cost of Australia, I mean, I haven't lived back home for 13, 14 years, but the cost of living has got to be threefold since I was back there. I mean, I owned hotels, so I used to buy a lot of food services and service providers. It's got to be threefold since I lived there. I know what I sold products for, and I know what I bought wholesale products for. The cost is escalated. And but then you go to and have a look at a chart on the monetary supply by the Reserve Bank of Australia, you'll see that it's been increased probably 3 or 4 times in the last 15 years. What does that mean? Well, as you increase the monetary supply in an economy, it means you're going to need a lot more Aussie dollars to buy the same amount of goods and services. And that's why we see the housing prices being, topping out. And I suppose if you sold out and diversified, you've done well. But if you wanted to buy back in those same areas, you'd have no chance, primarily. So it's all relative. And Australia right now, it's one of the most highly debted nations in the world when you do your research. So things are out of balance, and it's caused by this monetary system that we live under. And hence, you can really get into a whole, my good friend and mentor, Philip Judge, he's actually going to be speaking at the, I'm going to try and get him to the English event, but he's not going to be in Europe, but he's going to be in the US. So he's going to be speaking at our event in Dallas. He's a bullion banker. He's an Aussie guy, been living in Panama for the last 15 years. He's been a banker for the last 30 years. He comes from Adelaide, actually, Australia. And we're doing a lot of stuff with them. We've got some good plans on the drawing board for later on this year and early next year that hopefully we're going to sort of, do some more things. He operates a regulated precious metal fund and many other things, energy funds and stuff. But he does a seminar. We have it in our back office. I think it's called The Life Cycle of Money. When you think of the term life cycle of money, I mean, that means money has a life. It has a cycle. And certainly when you look at the British pound, which is one of the older currencies existing, the US dollar, which is a relatively new currency, I mean, these currencies, they come and go, And certainly in Eastern Europe, you've had, in Asia and different things, you've seen currencies, could you imagine the New Zealand dollar or the Australian dollar no longer being there, they change its name to something else? This is primarily what happened to the euro, primarily what happened to many of the Eastern European and Latin American nations as well, and out throughout Asia, is that it costs the people. You pay. The wealth is transferred back to this centralized banking system such as JP Morgan. So Jamie's looking after his institution and their constitution of centralized money. Bitcoin, Ethereum is about breaking the shackles of control and letting the people be free. Let the people breathe in their wealth and live a good life, not to be controlled by a banking system. And that's primarily what it is. So that's my take on it without getting into too much detail. And cryptocurrency has evolved from this dissatisfaction of the fiat currency world. That's the truth of it. But now you're getting into the next cycle of the life cycle of money, where banks want to control that cryptocurrency. And that's where we're seeing lots of regulation coming in. They can't do it on the crypto side, the mining side, because it's decentralized, but where they can do it is when Karen wants to take her Bitcoins or Ethereums and convert them back to British pounds, or you want to take your Bitcoins or Ethereums or Dash coins and convert them back to Aussie dollars. At that point, as soon as you plug back into the banking system, that's when they've got you by the short and curlies, as we say, Keithy, and they can actually control you a bit. So this is where a lot of regulatory change will actually come in.
Great, Bill. That's a fantastic explanation of what he's trying to do. And people are going the live chat. They're going, yeah, should be busted, should be in jail. So everybody's in. But the way you've just put that, Bill, would explain that. And I hope everyone who's watching this, and I'm looking at the chat now, looking at these people there, I want you to share this hangout just for that specific wording that Bill's just explained there. And especially about the Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin's been around since 2008, 2009 when it started. So Ethereum's only a few years. It's just about to explode. So we're at the right place at the right time again, Bitcoin and now Ethereum. I think that's what we need to get through, that there's two main players here, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin's strong now and having a bit of a dip. People are trying to have a go at Bitcoin. Having a go, and it's fighting off, and it's gone up again. Pull it back down, and it's gone up again. They're pulling it back down, it's gone up again. JP Morgan's putting his 2 cents worth in. That's been pulled down. Now the people are saying, no, straight back up to nearly 4,000 American again. That'll just keep going because the people's power will win. And Ethereum's just been dragged along as well. So that'll take off. So we're in a great situation here. Yeah. Swiss Gold Global, no question.
And just one other thing there too, Keithy. Of course, you also have the regulatory change in China, which has caused a lot of this sell-off too, of course, because there's a lot of, a lot of people who are not, who are doing ICOs and things which are not regulated. So, regulation is positive and it's also negative. Over-regulation is negative, but on the other side, it also protects, it protects the ordinary people from scammers and stuff like that. So there is a positive to it, in one sense. It's where they draw the line, I suppose. But the other point I wanted to make, yes, I have my own opinion on the banking system, but the local bank on the corner, the Commonwealth Bank or ANZ Bank or National Australia Bank on the corner, or the local bank in Birmingham, they provide a good service to the people. The mums and dads, their shops and small enterprises. Without that, you wouldn't be able to survive. So I'm not here to beat up on the banking system. This system we live under only exists because we've been dumbed down or not educated in it. So if you want to get smarter, the whole idea of Swiss Gold Global, yeah, you've got to earn some money, but the whole idea is we want to wake ourselves up. What system we're actually living under? What is money? How is it created? Why do prices rise? Why do I feel like I'm not getting ahead? Why do I need to have multiple streams of income? Why should I be engaged with cryptocurrency? What is cryptocurrency? This is what we're all about. It's a much bigger mission and purpose than just earning a few bucks on a daily basis. I mean, the whole idea is we want to transfer our knowledge to the next generation. Probably like you, Keithy and Paul, I wasn't brought up to understand money. My parents didn't understand money. They got too busy, head down, butt up, trying to keep bread and butter on the table. Understanding gold. What was gold? Maybe they had a wedding ring with a bit of gold in it. That was about it. But that was their understanding of it. So to actually go into much deeper what Swiss Gold Global is about, it's primarily about the core. It's about the transfer of knowledge, wealth creation, wealth preservation. And as we share it, as we become more consciously aware about the cryptocurrency space, the ecosystem is going to grow. When you've got strong demand, regardless of what these players and Jamie Dimon say, when you've got strong demand from the people, as we share what this is all about, what happens when there's strong demand? What happens to the price on a scarce item? Of course, it goes up, doesn't it? So, and not many people know about this cryptocurrency. Yes, they may have heard about Bitcoin or here or there. I've seen it, but most people don't know what it is. And when they say they do know it, they might have a recognition. Oh, the US dollar is so much compared to a pound, or the Bitcoin or Ethereum has so much to a pound or a Aussie dollar or a US dollar, etc. Other than that, they really don't know much about it. So you guys are doing a fantastic job by sharing the mission, by having calls like this, sharing it with people, because it's the understanding. You always say, Keithy, if you want to earn, you've got to learn. So getting on calls like this is really, really important. So I thank everyone for being on this panel. It's really important.
Good on you, Bill. That's fantastic. Well, that gives you, folks, if you're watching for the first time, this is why we're a little bit different than everyone else who's out there in this space, Swiss Gold Global. It's about education. Our back office is full of education about how you can learn about wealth creation, like my sign on the back says, building generational wealth. It's not just about being in a program. And you can tell in Bill's voice how passionate he is. It's always great to hear the owner of a company speak to the members via this medium we've got here, which can reach thousands. So make sure you share this hangout with everybody that you know. Share it on your timeline, email it to people, because if you can feel the passion of the owner coming through the video screen here about what he wants to be able to give and share with people, knowledge about earning and learning and growing wealth for you and your family, not for just you the next 5 or 10 years, but for your generations of your family as we go along in the next 50 to 100 to 150 years. As most of us, unless we get that magic pill that they're talking about, where we take one and we get regenerated and we're all 195 years old, and Karen's arranging another meetup in 2402. we all look the same, but that's Star Trek stuff, but that's the future. So it's great to hear that passion in your voice, Bill. I want to finish off now. So much for our 30 minutes. We're up to 45 minutes. I want to knock it off now. So I'll just ask each one of you just what plans you've got personally for the next 2 to 4 weeks individually of what's happening. So I'll start with you, Claudia. You've got more frequent fly points than I've had hot dinners from where you're traveling all the way. So what are you doing the next 2 to 4 weeks?
Well, I'm flying on Wednesday, since we talk about flying to Barcelona, and I'm taking my mother on a birthday trip. What about that? And I'm going to make sure I'm going to make sure I'm meeting a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space and the people who are interested in learning more. So as I'm a connector, I will connect with a lot of people. But other than that, well, we have a tour upcoming to the United States, as we know, as well as Birmingham. So it's going to be very busy, lots of meetings. And we're still rearranging the Florida tour because Florida was hit very much in the, of course, recent disaster. So we probably going to go to Connecticut instead, because there's simply no houses left. So yes, so I'm busy with that tour. And then after that, I think we are planning something for France. So we are planning a tour in France. We have a huge team there, and I'm planning something with Singapore right now.
Awesome.
Lots of planning.
Fantastic. Wow. Okay, Karen, thanks for jumping on the call at last minute notice. What's happening for you in the next 2 to 4 weeks, apart from the, well, you've got to get that event up and running?
Yeah, thanks, Keithy. Thanks for inviting me on here again today. Yeah, my focus is for the next 2 weeks is really the event, really is, and also obviously getting some more Bitcoin mining when that comes back, and also continuing to build up the Ethereum. So yeah, that's it. I'm just I'll be back over to the event probably today, maybe tomorrow, depending on time, and just make sure everything's sort of as it should be over there, and yeah, focusing on that.
Is there anything coming up in the UK after your event, sort of in the next couple of months, that people should sort of be aware of now?
There's nothing fixed as yet, but yes, we will be looking to book another one, probably January, maybe February time. So that'll be the next one, and maybe London, maybe Manchester, to get somewhere else in the country.
Awesome, fantastic. Well, that's exciting. All right, Paul, down on the Gold Coast, I know you you go to a lot of meetings, meetups, as they're called, that meetup group. But now you've got your own meeting room in the apartment block where you live, which I've had one meeting there with you, which is sensational. What's the plans for you for the next couple of weeks, mate?
Yeah, we will be using that as a base. We will be doing a number of little meetup groups out of that area, which will concentrate mainly on the Surfers Paradise and Gold Coast metropolitan area. But we'll also be doing some little meetups down in Wollongbar and going down a little bit further down into Port Macquarie and into Byron Bay, because there's a number of people that are already into SGG. And they've asked us to come down and do a little bit of a talk. So it's not too far out of our base that we have here. And so we'll be doing some really good meetups down there as well.
That's awesome. Good to see that everybody's busy. Can you just mute your mic, Paul, for us? Thank you. Yeah, it's got a bit of reverberation here. Thank you, folks, for coming on tonight at such short notice. And Bill and Cloudy, really appreciate your time as always. Paul and Karen, thank you very much for watching. We had a whole bunch of people watching, and we got some great comments in our chat box. But I think just from what Bill and Claudia, the information they personally give us about Ethereum and the background in Ethereum and how that will just explode with what it is as a product, and Bill's description of his company, I hope that hits a few heartstrings and gets people motivated and fired up about this company, Swiss Gold Global, that you've got to build your one business. You've got to stay strong with that. You've got Bitcoin and Ethereum at the moment. If you've got Bitcoin contracts already, they'll be back in the next few weeks. We'll know after today's call that Bill's got with the owners of Genesis Mining. He'll give us an update there. And then we'll just keep moving forward. We're only going in one direction, that's forward. So fantastic. Thank you very much for your time today, folks. That's it. We'll say goodbye, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now. Bye-bye.